I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to Inside Sim Racing. I'm Darren Ganji, and I'm here for the third live session at the iRace4Life seminar. And with me for this first part of this session is Chris Considine, CEO and founder of CXC Simulations. Great to have you in the interview booth with me, Chris.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we go way back.
Oh, yeah.
You were actually, I think, the very first interview I ever did. And we were at the Santa Monica, some car place.
Oh, yeah, our original showroom in Santa Monica.
Right.
Which we shared with like a car dealership.
Right, so yeah, we go way back as far as the show goes, and Chris has actually helped us land a few different things here and there, and I really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
So first up, this is your second year here, right, for the iRace4Life seminar. So what do you think about this?
Oh, this is amazing. I mean, what a great opportunity. Where else can you meet all these people that you've known for sometimes over a decade, but actually meet them in person and shake their hands and talk with the people and see what kind of equipment they're running, and really just get to meet everybody. I mean, there's nowhere else we can do that.
Exactly, and you've actually been here helping people with their setups. You guys actually are going to do a class later on today about optimizing your display or tuning in your displays.
Well, since we were originally asked to do this by Scion, who graciously invited us to come to this event, we always are racking our brain, like, how can we participate? How can we, give back? And one of the things that we can do is, educate people for, all the knowledge that we've built up over the years and try and pass as much of that along as we can. Last year, we went through talking about how to modify steering wheels and settings on your graphics and stuff like that and try and optimize that. This year, we're going to be helping people choose the right display for their sim rig, and also then how to maximize that display and make it as fast and color calibrate them and all of that sort of stuff and teach them how to do that sort of stuff.
So you guys are using a tool to actually do this color calibration. Now, is that affordable? Is that something that people need to do that at home?
Well, part of our seminar is going to be how to test a panel for both speed and for color calibration. There are two ways to do both. You can use dedicated tools to test speed and calibration, like the tool you just talked about. But there are also more basic ways that, yes, aren't as good as the dedicated tool, but they're just using household items, and they get you 80% there. 80% there is plenty good usually.
So what kind of household items would you use to?
Well, you can use, like if you have an iPhone, and you can get HDMI out, they make a little Apple adapter to your display. You can set up a stopwatch on your iPhone and a camera that then watches the difference between the iPhone and your display.
Oh, really?
With the stopwatch app, and you can actually measure milliseconds in delay that way with, and that measures how fast your display is. For color calibration, how to use Windows built-in color calibrator, which is basically just taking you through a slideshow and telling you how to adjust your display and what colors you should be seeing.
Now, is there information on the net that people can get as far as doing that? So if they just Google calibrate my display?
Yes, in fact, you can go to start, search, and color calibrate, and the first thing that'll pop up is the color calibration tool.
Oh, wow.
And it just walks you through it step by step. And
I've never even done that, so I'm going to have to do that.
Nobody does it.
Yeah, I never have, so I'm going to have to do that at home. And I always just figured that the default settings were, with the monitor.
In fact, the default settings are probably the worst settings because they always blow out the contrast and brightness for when they put those displays on the shelf next to other displays.
Right.
When people are like at Best Buy or whatever, they want theirs to be the brightest and the most contrasty.
Right.
But when you're at home and you want it to be realistic colors, you don't want that.
And I saw the difference in some of the displays that you guys have calibrated since you've been here, and it definitely makes a difference.
Oh, yeah. Oh, huge difference.
So let's talk a little bit about CXC Simulations. How long have you guys, you started the company, so how long have you been doing this now?
Well, we actually started production in 2006, late 2006. But I mean,
and your first rig was for a hockey player, wasn't it?
One of your first rigs? Pre-production rig was for Marion Gabrick, who's actually come back to LA now. We're all excited for him to come play for the Kings.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
I just found out about that yesterday, actually.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, he's been using it because he's a kind of casual track day racer kind of guy. Obviously, he doesn't have as much time as he wants to race.
Right.
But when he can, he trains on the simulator.
Very cool. Very cool. So now you come a long way since building them in your backyard.
Yeah.
And you got a nice new facility that I've seen some footage of and stuff. And one rig I want to talk to you about, or sim that you built, is that one for the Toyota dealerships. That thing is pretty sweet. Now, have you guys done anything else like that, or is that pretty much a one-off thing? Or
we have. So essentially, that was born from a need, like most of our projects. We had a customer who came to us with a real Champ car. And they said, look, we want to convert this into a simulator that can be as realistic as possible, but you cannot hurt the car in such a way that it couldn't be converted back to a real race car again.
Wow.
So don't cut the tub, no new holes, so
that must have been quite an undertaking.
Yeah. And make it easy for everybody to get in and out of.
Now, is that thing still together as a sim?
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much so. But they always, they were conscious of, like, maybe 10 years from now, we'd like to turn it into a vintage race car again,
Right.
Something along those lines. And it's something that sits in their dealership showroom, and they let the general public jump into this big simulator with full screens on it. And
so that's in North Hollywood, California, right?
Yeah. So if you're in North Hollywood.
Yeah, if you're near North Hollywood and you want to check that out.
Yeah, Toyota of North Hollywood. Go check it out.
I used to live near there, so I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah.
So now, have you done any others like that? Or
we have some we can talk about and some we can't. But yeah, that spawned a whole new division of our company, which we call Skunkworks, which makes only custom products.
Oh, cool.
So we have both the production line, which is the Motion Pro 2 and its derivatives, and then now we have Skunkworks, which makes anything from mild to wild. Basically, we turned into a full engineering firm.
Now, you guys just did a show on, what's it called? You were just telling us at breakfast.
How It's Made?
How It's Made, yes. You guys were just on that, and it's going to be on about 6 to 9 months from now.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool that you guys
we're pretty excited about that.
That's a really neat deal that you guys were recognized by them, and they came and checked out your setup. And
yeah, it was so cool. I mean, everyone who works at our shop is, we're big hardware geeks, and we love that stuff. And we've all, just geeked out on How It's Made forever. So for them to come to our shop and, film was really, really cool.
I can imagine. So speaking of your shop, how many sims do you guys build, say, a month or a year? I mean, do you have a number that you can shoot at me, or?
It varies wildly. So it's throughout the year we have our slow and our
your
peaks and valleys.
Right.
And it really follows the racing season. When the
Really?
racing season is full tilt, our customers are racing and aren't thinking about simulation.
So most of your customers are real race car drivers?
Yeah, these days it's almost all.
Wow.
Varying from true professionals all the way to gentleman drivers.
Okay.
So they're not thinking about simulation during the racing season, but as soon as the season ends or is about to end, that's when our
They want to get on the virtual track.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, do a lot of them focus on the type of driving that they do in the real world, as far as how you set it up for them, or do they just want to just sim race at random? Or does it just vary?
So it varies. When they're new to sim racing, they are strictly thinking about learning a new track. They think, oh, well, simulators are good for learning a new track, and that's it. They quickly find out that it's much more about the racing, learning to set up a car. But I mean, a perfect example is,
situational awareness.
Yeah, situational awareness. One of our drivers that uses our simulators is Patrick Long. He's a factory Porsche driver.
Right, I've heard of him.
He's constantly driving that simulator, but he knows all the tracks by heart. I mean, if anybody knows Le Mans, it's him, right?
Right.
He's not interested in that. He wants to drive any race, any car, any track. He just wants to be in an online race.
Wow.
For him, it's about managing that first lap of motion and reading the traffic around him. And
that's cool to hear that drivers use that as more than just, like you said, learning the track, but just to get ready to prepare for a race and what it's like during that first lap.
To get your brain in that space and just constantly be drilling that in,
Very cool. So, Chris, we also have Tom Haake here, who works with you now, and going to hand it over to him. But thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Joining me here. It's great to see you again. It's been a while since we've seen each other.
It has been a while.
It's been great to hang out with you. And
come visit us.
You know what? I'll be down in California this summer. So when I
right.
I definitely want to come check out your facility.
Cool.
All right, Chris, thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we have Tom Hacky, who some of you might remember used to be on the show, and who now works for CXC Simulations. Tom?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So
Sweet.
now this is your second year here as well.
Yeah.
For the iRace4Life, and what do you think about all this?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, like Chris said, we don't usually have a chance to meet all these people in person. We don't have a chance to, you know, talk and see each other and compare setups even, you know, not like car setups, but like rigs. You know?
Yeah, exactly. And get to see what everybody's, you know,
everybody's running on.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you get over here and Landon Harrison's running a Sidewinder, and you're like, what is that?
Now,
You're a DWC driver.
You know, I haven't had a chance to talk to him. Is that what he races with?
That is all he races on.
You got to be kidding.
That's it. Sidewinder pedals, Sidewinder
I got to
wheel,
get him on the
like
show. You know,
apart.
we got another session at 10 Eastern tonight. I'm going to try to get Landon on the show.
Yeah.
Now, I think he was in GT Academy, too.
Yes, 2 or 3 times now, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So that just shows you that you don't have to be a top-notch sim racer, or you know, you have to have top-notch equipment to be a top-notch sim racer.
You don't. Yeah, no, like any hobby, I think you can you can find a balance between equipment and skill and
I met with Ray Alfala yesterday and interviewed him, and he was just talking about it's just being comfortable with the equipment that you're using and being familiar with it, and you know, the more you use it, the more you get dialed in with it.
Yeah.
So you're with CXC now.
Yes, sir.
And your title is CTO?
CTO now, yeah.
And so what does that stand for?
Chief Technology Officer.
So what exactly do you do, let's say, on a daily basis?
The easiest way to describe it is I'm the jack of all trades, really.
Okay.
But I'm in charge of development for a large portion. I'm in charge of quality control and testing. I develop all those procedures. I manage the team that's building and testing the rigs.
How many people on that team?
2 or 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It rotates out a little bit, but yeah. And then generally, just sort of exploring the technology that is around us and available to us, and maybe adapting new technologies, that kind of thing.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what's one of your favorite parts of the job?
Well, driving the Sims. I mean, they're just crazy Sims, you know, the huge triple screens and awesome force feedback and feedback in general. I go home to my little G27 on my Obuto, and I love that rig. That is by far my favorite rig, but man, I'm like, I'm just
You're
going to
comfortable
work.
in it, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
And I bet you're probably faster in the Obuto.
Actually, no.
No, really?
No, at first I was, because I was used to it.
Uh-huh.
But now I've become dependent on the little cues that I'm getting from the motion system and
no kidding.
And the butt kickers
Well,
and
and
stuff.
back to being comfortable. So now you're more comfortable in the motion sim, it sounds like. Because
Yeah,
for me, it
definitely.
takes me a while to get more comfortable in that sim.
Yes.
Because it's like almost sensory overload.
But the cool thing is, and it is, there's so much more going on. It is sensorily overload. But the cool thing is, then when you get into a real car, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know what's going on. Because you have that same level of sensory input in a real car, and you're like, oh, cool, I can manage this. So it's really nice to be able to transfer that over.
So speaking of your personal sim racing, do you get to do much? Are you competing regularly, or you just kind of dabble a little bit?
Yeah, I'm doing track days.
Matter of fact, we were in the same Indy 500 last year.
Yeah. No, in
I
sim
think
racing,
I lasted about 10 more laps than you.
Yeah. It was really coming to me last year, too. I had a good run. My setup was nice, and then someone wrecked in front of me, and it just took me out.
Your day was over.
Yeah. No, it's hard to compete in sim racing, especially when you work in the industry. You know, it's when you go home and you've been fiddling with, you know, iRacing graphic settings all day, you don't really want to go home and then race iRacing. But
and you know what's funny? When we first started the show,
Yeah.
people would talk about that, and at first I wasn't like that, but now I can totally relate to
That's
what you're
tough.
talking about, because
Yeah.
you know, I'm going from Assetto Corsa to R Factor 2 to testing a wheel stand on Forza 5, and then you know I tried to run the Radical series, you know, this season in iRacing, and I ran the first 3 races, and it's just been tough for me to get focused and commit to it, just because I'm just bouncing all over the place. And again, you know, I want to do other things besides sim race.
Yeah.
In my private time,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
go out and snow ski and do stuff like that.
Family and hobbies and all that kind
And
of
we're
stuff.
both married, so spending
Yeah.
time with our wives, you know,
Yeah.
and our wives don't want us. They're like, dude, you've been sim racing all day. Can we spend some time together, maybe watch a movie or something?
Right, exactly. Yeah. No, it's tough. But I still do. There's a lot of World Tour events that I still do.
That's what I try to get to,
the
too.
500
bigger
every year. I
yeah,
do
I'm
that.
running. Yeah, I'll be running the Indy 500 again
I did
this year.
that. I ramped it up this year. I did it at CXC. I had my dad as my crew chief.
Awesome.
He was on a different sim, like watching the race and
that's really
giving me
cool.
information. So
That
it was
must
really
have made
cool.
that must have made it a lot of
It
fun.
was very serious.
So let's go back to talking about working at CXC,
Sure.
you get to try some really top-notch equipment.
Yeah, pretty much
You
all
know,
of it. yeah.
and so now, what's the main wheel that you guys sell on the Sims?
Well, it starts life as a ECCI 7000,
Uh-huh.
and then we basically order, I don't know, half or 3/4 of the wheel, and then we start manufacturing a whole bunch of other stuff.
And they send it to you like that?
Yeah.
So you don't have to
Yeah.
buy a full setup. They
Right.
know that you guys are
Yeah, we've worked it. I mean, we order a lot of them. So we
Massaging
worked
it.
out. Yeah.
good way to put it.
so to speak. Yeah. But yeah, so there's a lot of proprietary stuff on there, including the way the force feedback works and the main interface, the steering wheel, and the quick release mechanisms and all the electronics back there. But yeah, that's how it starts life.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now you got to try the Hacky Force.
Yeah.
From Sim Experience. What do you think about that?
I like it. Yeah, we've tried a lot of the higher force servo motor type direct
Bodnar?
drive. Yeah, Bodnar. A couple others or the same servo motor with a couple other control boards and stuff like that. But yeah, it's great. I love the direct drive thing. There's, usually there's much lower cogging force and, stuff like that in the servo direct drive motors. And it's nice. It's powerful, and it definitely gives you that realism that you miss occasionally in the lower
End wheels.
lower stuff. Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you. So now back to the Indy 500. You're going to run
Yeah.
it again?
Oh, definitely.
Or the same way though as you did last year from
Probably.
CXC with your
Yeah.
dad as your crew chief.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean,
Very
it's-
cool.
To have those triple screens that CXC puts on the rigs that's it.
Really immerses you.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to wrap this up really quick. But
Sure.
my next interview was supposed to be Michael Maine,
Michael Maine.
and it looks like he might have disappeared on us.
Chris will go get him.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Chris. He's at his table. Let's talk for another couple minutes.
Sure.
So now you're working full time at CXC, Monday
Yeah.
through Friday.
Yes, sir.
Now, and I asked Chris this question, but I wasn't sure if he answered it because I think I got sidetracked. About how many Sims do you guys build, like on a regular? But you guys have like a bunch that are going at the same
Yeah,
time.
they're all built to order, so it really depends on how many orders we get in. But we can, we still haven't hit our production ceiling, but we've done anywhere from, I'd say, 20 in the beginning to 50 a year. I mean, it's
Wow.
Yeah, and
It's really cool. It's great
keeps
to hear
picking
that.
up
Yeah,
and-
it's great to hear that Chris has created something that's been able to, continue on and make a viable business out
Yeah.
of it.
Oh yeah. We're plenty busy.
Great.
Having work to do is not. It's not. The
Well, that's
issue.
good, and that's good for you. Now you got job security.
Yeah. No, it's great.
Awesome.
It's a lot of
Tom,
fun. Thanks a lot, Darren.
great seeing you again, and
Sure.
thanks for joining me here.
Yeah.
And be talking to you more. And good luck in your class. I'll be checking that out. We'll have
Thanks.
some footage of that for you guys post seminar. So,
Cool.
all right, buddy.
Thanks, Darren.
Thanks. Up next, we have Michael Maine from Maine Performance PCs.
Hey, Darren.
Michael and I go way back. Now, we've been sim racing, not like directly against each other, but we've known each other in the sim racing world for about 15 years now, huh?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. We've definitely been racing a long time.
So where'd you get your start as far as sim racing goes? What title? And
I started with NASCAR 1 back on Hawaii.
so
Yeah.
I thought so. I thought, and your brother too, right, Chris?
Chris was really little back then. So, no.
So how old were you when you started?
I was about 15.
Okay, wow.
15,
so
16. I'm
I was a
33
little,
now. So.
I was gonna say I was about 10 years older than you because I'll be 46 this year, so 13 years older than you. So what do you think about this? This is your second year here. You're one of the sponsors here, actually,
Yep.
and you're giving away a huge rig.
Oh yeah, we're giving away. We're doing an Oboto Revolution, and we're doing a computer system with 3 screens. I don't know the specs right off the top of my head, but it's our Turbo X4000K system.
So see, if you didn't come to this, you're missing out on a chance at winning a full-blown rig from Maine Performance PCs. So
Yeah.
that's awesome, man, that you're giving that. You gave some other prizes away too, haven't you?
Yeah, we gave away. We're doing some T-shirts. I think that's about it. We're doing the Revolution. So
And the
we're doing-
Revolution's big enough.
Yeah, we're doing about $3,500 worth of prizes.
That's awesome. Now, when I meant to ask you a little earlier, when are they giving that away? Is it later tonight?
Yeah, I think it's later tonight.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And we'll have some footage of the winner of that for you guys. So, so let's back up a little bit. So you've been sim racing about 15 years, or I think it's about that long. What got you into building PCs and starting Maine Performance PCs?
So I started back in 2009. Me and my wife now, we were dating at the time, and I had just got laid off at my job.
Okay.
And needed something to do. She said, get a job or find something or get out. So I built my first computer for a friend of mine on iRacing, and he just word of mouth from there, and it's definitely blown up over the years.
So it was into the iRacing era when you started doing this.
Yeah.
So now, have you been sim racing since Hawaii, all through? Because I know there was Hawaii, and then did you race on 10?
Yeah, I did 10 all through 10.
I did too.
Then I stopped. NASCAR 3 didn't really interest me. I didn't even buy NASCAR 3.
NASCAR 3 was just basically an upgrade to NASCAR 2.
Exactly.
And I know at that time
10 was gone at the time.
Exactly.
So.
10 fizzled, and I was hoping that Grand Prix Legends had come out, and I was hoping that everybody had talked about that NASCAR 3's platform was going to be based on the same type of physics engine, and it basically just became an upgrade of NASCAR 2. And then NASCAR 4 was when that newer physics model was
I started
enabled.
Coming back in NASCAR 4, NASCAR 2003.
So you do a lot of racing in 2003?
I did a little bit. We did the Like Real Lane events with Dave McCall.
You know, that's funny. I talked about those with. I never got to go to one. I always wanted to. So did you go? You went to some of those?
Yeah, I went to one in Baltimore.
Wow.
Nim Cross got me drunk, and I was underage.
Yep. Whoa, Nim, you're in big trouble there, buddy.
I was in big trouble.
So now, if you're not familiar, Dave McCall was the guy's name, wasn't it?
Yeah, Dave McCall.
Was a guy that did some LAN events. For a couple years, he did them, and he was doing them all over the country. He'd set up in a hotel conference room, and I know Dale Jr. showed up to one. I talked to you know Ron Black is?
Yeah.
Ron Black, I guess, went to one, and Dale Jr. was at that particular event. So, and I'm bummed I never got to go to one, but there'd be a lot of people, and they'd have full-on races going on with prizes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. No, it was best time of my life, man.
Really?
I love that place.
And you got drunk underage.
Yeah. Nim, I get to file a protest for Nim.
You should. I think you should. So back to the PCs and your company. Now, not only do you build PCs, and now that business has expanded quite a bit. I mean,
Oh yeah, definitely.
How many PCs you think you sell, like say, on a monthly basis? And it probably, I'm assuming you have peaks and valleys, and it varies a little bit.
Yeah, there's definitely peaks and valleys. The holidays are a big time for us. Around that time, we do about 100 to 200 systems a month.
Wow.
Probably from, I would say, October till about January, February.
That's amazing. Starting from building one PC for a buddy on iRacing to up to a couple hundred PCs a month. I mean, that's incredible.
Well, it's starting to get outside of iRacing now, too. You know, we spend about $6,000 a month on advertising or marketing. We do AdWords. We do a lot of that stuff. We target Battlefield community, the Call of Duty community, and pretty much all the first-person shooters. We do sim racing too. So,
well, that market is a lot bigger than sim racing.
Oh yeah, it's
so
huge.
if you can really tap into that, I'm sure that you're gonna.
It's definitely huge. Flight sims are also a good one for us.
Really,
you know, we target those guys. And then the Obuto drives a lot of traffic to our site, and then those people figure out, hey, you know, I don't have to buy from Dell or Alienware or CyberPower PC. You know, I can just get everything I need from Maine Performance. And
especially if they're, you know, if you're not familiar, Michael also distributes Obuto here in the U.S.
Yep.
So if you're looking for a full turnkey solution, this is your guy right here.
Definitely.
MainePerformancePC.com, right?
Yep.
Very cool. So now you got some other stuff in development. You got some pedals in development.
Yep. I can't talk too much about them, but they're getting very, very close.
What can you tell us about them?
We've started manufacturing.
Okay.
We have started that. About 2 weeks from now, we'll start assembling our prototypes. We have about 10 prototypes that we're going to start building. Make sure everything goes together right with those. We'll make any last-minute adjustments, and then we're going to start building about 400 units.
Nice.
Right off the bat.
Now, what can you tell us about those? Load cell, hydraulic, what type of pedals? You know, for me, main thing is the brake. You got to have a brake that is going to feel progressive to an extent and as real as possible.
Yeah. So if anybody out there is familiar with CST, Todd offered a number of different options for his pedals. You know, he offered a high-end, stiff brake upgrade, a high-pressure upgrade.
All load cell based.
All load cell based. He offered versions with just the gas and a brake. Then he offered versions with gas, brake, and clutch. What we're doing is you get gas brake clutch, you get all those high-end stiff brake upgrades, load cell. Our circuit board is a patent-pending design.
Nice.
Completely different. Nobody's ever seen anything like it before.
Oh, very cool.
It's going to do some very cool things that I can't talk about at the moment.
No problem, no problem. I'm sure I'll get more information out of you in the near future, and
you'll be getting a set here shortly.
Yeah, and I'll have them here on the show for you guys, so I can tell you what I think about them. Yeah. So, what about price point?
So they're going to start at $899. That doesn't include any floor bracket or side bracket for the cockpits.
Okay.
We are making a Revolution and an Ozone bracket.
Okay.
And then there's also going to be a hydraulic kit. That's going to be about the $499 range.
Okay.
And that would be installed by us. And then there will also be a hydraulic upgrade kit that we can sell after you've bought your pedals, and that would actually be a little bit cheaper at $399.
Oh, very cool. So now, without the bracket, are people going to be able to bolt that to, like, if they have a custom rig?
Yeah. Basically, they're the same dimensions as CSTs.
Okay.
We thought that was important. You know, if people wanted to get rid of their CSTs and get our pedals, that, you know, they would be a direct replacement if they already had, you know, a rig custom made for CSTs. But yeah, it's very easy to put them in custom install. And
again, you can, when he's got them available, they'll be available at mainperformancepc.com. So speaking about available, do you have a date? Approximate date? Approximate time frame?
Yeah, we've printed out some brochures saying early 2014, so we're committed now.
Yeah, it started to become mid 2014 almost. So you're
So we're looking at April, maybe early May.
And I know you want to make sure that they're right before they're out on the market, so you're not going to rush stuff out that people are not going to be, or that are going to be disappointed with.
Yeah.
So
we've got a waiting list of probably close to 1,500 people right now.
How many?
1,500.
Wow, that's awesome.
And that doesn't include our whole market that we're going after. There's a little hint right there, but yeah, we haven't taken any pre-orders. We're not doing any of that.
Good.
And when we're going to build everything.
You'll take the money when you're selling them.
Yeah, we'll take the money when they go up for sale.
I like when people do business that way. I don't believe in the whole pre-order thing.
Yep. And basically what will happen is when they're all built and boxed up and ready to ship out, you know, we'll put them up for sale. And if you order Monday through Friday before 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. Central Time, they'll ship that same day.
Awesome. That's really cool. And it sounds like you're going to be making enough stock to really keep your supply and the demand going.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have quite a bit.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to having a set. And again, I'll have them on the show. Mike and I have already talked about it, and I'm definitely going to have a set, hopefully one of those first 10.
Yeah, you will.
And I'll be able to tell you guys all about them, and I'm really looking forward to it. Michael, thank you so much for joining me here.
Yeah, thank you, man.
It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure meeting you for the first time after 15 years of,
it's been forever.
Again, racing kind of, not really, I don't think we really, I know we raced against each other at one point.
Oh, yeah.
But,
we raced a few times.
Yeah, and I don't really think we were running the same circles, but I always knew of you, and you always knew of me, so it's been great to finally connect and see you here. And so what about next year? You going to be here next year?
Yeah, we'll be here next year. We're actually thinking about doing a bigger event or a bigger booth. You know, we'll probably bring down a few computers of our own. And
I know what I wanted to ask you. How come you didn't bring a set of pedals? Not ready?
Not ready.
Okay, very cool. Again, Michael, thank you so much, man, and it's been a pleasure. So that's going to wrap up session 3 here from the iRace4Life seminar. Again, I was with Michael Maine. I'd like to thank Chris Considine and Tom Haake for joining me, and I'll be back again live here at 10 Eastern. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'll see you next time.
See you guys.